BVI, baby. British Virgin Islands, this one's for us. Put your hands up. BVI, yes. And BVI. Hearts, sing BVI. Wave them to the sky. Rock from side to side.
Good day and welcome to the Vigilate Dialogues. I am your host, Shayna Smith-Archer, welcoming you to the National Boardroom. If you are new to our program, each week our goal is to discuss issues affecting our quality of life and the solutions to them. The Vigilate Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associates, your strategic business and project management specialists. Contact us at 340-1199 to schedule your consultation to discuss your project and business needs. Here on our program, out of my many hats, y'all know I have a lot, I am Shayna Taxpayer today, and I am starting a series called Women of Impact, where we're going to be highlighting women in our community who are making great contributions. Today with me, I have Miss Gabrielle Skelton-Bardo, the author of Illustrated History of the British Virgin Islands. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
I am so happy to have you here. I was recently at the book reveal for the second book. But before we get into talking about the your literary work, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know people may have seen your face and, may know you may not, but, share something about yourself with us.
Okay, I'm mostly known as Gabby. A BV Islander, proud to be a BV Islander, and I'm very creative. I like anything with the arts, whether it's drawing, coloring, even doing little fashions, whatever. I've done little. I'm an amateur at it. Okay. I wouldn't say I am skilled.
Okay.
But
work in progress.
Yes, always.
Always. All right, and you grew up here all your life, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not going to say how much, because that don't tell how old I am.
Yeah, don't even do it yourself. All right. No problem.
I'm still in my 30s.
All right.
Something.
Been around a couple decades.
But I'd non 10 somewhere along the line.
All right, got you. All right, so tell us, what inspired you to become an author? Have you done writing before? How did you start?
Actually, I remember when I started Elmore Stout High School, but before it was BVI High, and I remember telling our music teacher, Miss Crawford, asked us what we would like to be when we grow up, and I did mention that I want to be an author. I can't remember what the second one was, but I remember saying I wanted to be an author.
Oh, okay.
And I've always had a journal, and I've always kept a journal. I've always written stuff. I've always wanted to write a novel. And I do have a couple manuscripts, but I don't like, I'm my biggest critique. So I was like, no, that wouldn't work. Yeah. And I did join Wattpad, which I do have Wattpad app on my phone, and it's a group where amateur writers get to write. And some of the persons have actually had their work published. Okay. And I met some very good authors, and they were encouraging me. I even sent them the layout of this book, and they were like encouraging me to keep going, and they helped me because I was telling them about my struggles, and I did show them privately what I wrote, and I was like, keep going, but I just didn't feel confident with what I had. There were a couple ladies in the group that were the same way, so we were each other encouragement. Okay. They still haven't published just as me their manuscripts, but they're working on it. Awesome. So hopefully one day I'll get to do my adult stuff. Hopefully. So hopefully.
Well, you're on a journey, so we're gonna look out for it. Yeah. All right. So tell us about book one.
Well, book one is focused on, I titled it Central Tortola because I focus on certain specific areas within a certain point, from Fort Board coming up to, I think I would say, Wiscomski 1 and 2. Okay. That's where I decided to put it as central. And then I split. It was a lot of work. In terms of when I started, I wanted to do just one book, but the information was a lot.
So much, okay.
So when I sent the list to Miss Bernadine Louis at the college, she was like, wow. She said, Gabrielle, this is a lot. And I was like, and then I I was speaking with Zoe Walcott, and I was showing her the same information, and she was saying, Gabs, consider doing a series, because most BVLanders, they most time just do one book, and that's it. And then she said there's so much wonderful things about the BVL that you can actually map out in a series. And then she also opened up about there's sometimes you're in a household and there's more than one child, so don't try to do something that's so huge it becomes expensive that it's not accessible to children. So she gave me a lot of guidance in terms of the direction of how, yes, you got to do the drawings, you got to do this, but also in the terms of if the person wants to buy it, would it be affordable for them in the end? So I had a good group. Awesome. Doing some good mentoring.
Sounds like it. So in terms of the forum, the online forum, you were saying that they gave you feedback, and that there were some persons in there that were encouraging you.
In terms of on Wattpad?
Yeah. Yes,
what's special about Wattpad is I met people from different areas of life. So one of the one person that was close to, she was in England, and she was writing stories about her life and experiences that she went through, and she put it through the books.
Okay.
And she showed me her struggle that she went through as an author, having her work stolen.
Oh, wow.
Yes, actually having herself criticized that she's not talented. She's not a talented writer. And she's a woman of color. And she would pour out her heart to us, who were her fans. She said, we were like her family. And she had a struggle where they would attack her. And Wattpad, because it's automated, sometimes shut down her account. And she had to reach out to us via emails a lot of times to let us know that she's here. And it was to a point where we said to her, and that was a lot of us, it was over more than 50 persons, male and female, saying to her, it's time you get published. The work that you have, she had more than 13 books. Going on and on and on, yes. And her followers was just increasing. And from when she started with book one, she improved. And the thing is, she appreciated the feedback, whether it was negative, whether it was positive. She was appreciative of that feedback. And when I was explaining to her, she had similar experiences that I shared, and we end up becoming friends and whatnot. So I showed her my work, and I told her, well, you're courageous to write your story. I am not courageous to tell mine in written word. But this is what I want to do. I love children, and I do love children's books. I just like the way it opens up the imagination for a child to think and to grow and to just ask questions. And I like to ask questions. If those who know me know I ask questions. So that was the biggest encouragement. So I had an international audience before I had a local audience.
So why did you choose to make it a coloring book? Because that was one of the things that piqued my interest about it.
Let's say you don't have a creative bone in your body, or you have no idea what you're doing and stuff, because I did arts in high school, but I can't paint. I wish I did. There's other things, I can't paint. But I could color. And I'm very good at coloring. So I'll sit down there and try to figure out how this is going to look with this color and be creative with that. But one of the things is I did want to paint. I did have that... I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be able to be like this and see this. This is the experience we had in school, watching I forgot his name, Franklin Hodge, painting and stuff, if you remember what it was.
I remember in the studio.
And then how they painted the entire buildings, the school buildings, and doing the murals and stuff. Those were inspirations, and I was like, okay, I didn't get to do that. So
this is the next best thing.
Yes, coloring. If you can't paint, I know people do paint and sips and stuff, but it's like, I wanted it to be me. I wanted to be a painter, but it didn't work out that way. So I took the next option, and color. So anybody that wants to have those same aspirations, they want to be an artist, coloring is a good way to start. and getting into the mediums and understanding sketching. There was one young lady that I did when I did the test with this book. She was an aspiring artist as well, and she was she liked the book. She's how old was she? She's 15. She made 15 just last year, and she liked every concept of the book because this is what she wanted to get into. So she was like into mixing her colors, and she was like saying, Gabby, I have canvas. Mom and Dad just bought me paint. I have my brushes, and sorry. So it was just like she was
excited.
Yes, just to see this.
And
when she saw the images, she was like, "Yes, I have something to work from," and they made me feel good. They made me feel inspired because I was like, "Okay, great.
This is gonna be put to use."
Yes, so they were like, and then what I liked about her brother is that he was dyslexic, and school was not really fun. So it was like when I got this book, and I was like, would you like to color? And he was like, and then later on when the others were coloring, he joined in. And then he just started to open back up and what's not, and he was learning at the same point. So it was like, okay, good. It's attracting children that, one, may be struggling with reading, struggling with the information that is intense, don't remember, because we have people with learning disabilities, children with learning disabilities, and I don't like seeing children left behind, and I don't like children feeling that they can't accomplish.
To participate with everybody else.
And you get bullied for not being like everybody else. So those are some of the things that putting this information together fueled a lot of it. I just can't stand to see a child struggling, or hearing a parent talk about their child struggling in school, and at home when the parent help them, they're fine, but when they get to school and they're independent, they're struggling. So all of that added to how I wanted this information to come out. If you speak to the CEO of Education Department, which is Connie George. She was my social studies teacher. So the other day I went and I had a visit with her to chat to her about the book, and I said, and she said, you remember I was an A student, an A+ student in your class, right? She said, yes. I said, okay, well, look, I put that ability into this book. To use. And because I had loved that side of the book. One of the things that we going to try to work on for here is getting English and maths as accessible like this. Because I struggle with maths.
To put it in like an illustrated format.
So that a child like me who struggles with maths, I struggle with algebra. I cannot get beyond the concept of algebra. So I didn't want, so it's like, these are the things that you need to pass. You need basic English, you need basic maths. And for these things, I don't like the concept of a child dropping out because they fail in maths, they fail in English. I don't like the concept of a child having to drop out, period. I don't like the stereotypes that we're experiencing here in the Caribbean. It's not just in the BVI, but in the Caribbean. Caribbean people don't like to read, or they don't like to, they would not pick up a book. I hate those they're now becoming stigmas, Before it would have been a stereotype, but now it's an actual stigma. And it's not true. And it's hearing the older generation saying it, but we have a younger generation that's coming up, and the thing is,
we still have to encourage them.
And for me is, I believe in myself, be the change you want to see. So it all fueled into this. As I said, I had this just sitting down there.
So how many years did you develop this over before you actually pushed the button?
This is an 8-year project.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In terms of always going back to it, revisiting it, back to it, revisiting it. It's just in 2019 I decided to push it. And said, hey, as I said, joining the Wattpad group is the reason why when those girls got on my...
You started to build the courage.
Those girls got on my case, and it was like, I said, hey, look, this is what I had. I just showed them, and which I felt more comfortable showing it to somebody overseas than I did
locally. Just yet.
It was more easier because it was like, it doesn't have anything to do with them. But they would get to learn about there. And it was like, they did ask me where I'm
Questions
from.
about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
where I'm from, because I was the strangest person to the group. And one thing about the young lady is that she was married to a Jamaican.
Okay.
But she's British. And the thing is, she learned how to speak patois from her husband.
Okay.
So when she was writing, she was using some of those
The dialect.
and I was like, what did you just write? And she was like, don't you understand it? Everybody in the group started flare up and said, I understood what you write. I said, no, but I don't.
Yeah.
So she started to explain to me what it was, their dialect. And I said,
speaking,
she
what we would say is Jamaican.
Yes, she broke it down for me, and I was like, thank you. Because she wrote it.
Yeah.
Hearing it and writing it is two different things.
That's true. That's
So
true.
when she wrote it, I was lost. Everybody else got it, but I was lost. And I said, hey, do me a favor. Don't laugh at me. Tell me what you just wrote.
What did
there,
you just say?
because I do not understand. And I was saying, okay, for us in the Virgin Islands, it's a little bit different. Our dialect isn't so intense.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay.
Because it's a language now with the words. If you've just tuned in, you're tuned into the Vigilate Dialogues. I'm here with my guest today, woman of impact, Miss Gabrielle Skelton-Bardo, author of Illustrated History of the British Virgin Islands. And we've been talking about book 1 and the journey. You said it was an 8-year project, basically.
Yes.
As far as that labor of love and finally, kicking it off. The first time I actually heard about that book, it was my mom. Because I guess she heard about the launch and she was, telling me about she has to get a copy. Because, again, she likes to collect books from all local authors. So she's building a library. So just the other day now, we had the reveal, I think it was a cover reveal
Of book
for
2.
book 2. So tell us what's happening there.
Okay, with book 2 now, we actually made some changes, and I would say there would be heavy changes. I wanted the book more vibrant. We colored Zoe, the turtle dove, so we could actually give her identity to who Zoe is.
Okay.
And what was supposed to actually happen with book 1, because of COVID-19, it didn't happen. It transitioned into book 2, which is thankful, which is the territorial dolls that we introduced. So Zoe was actually supposed to be already in existence.
Okay.
And we would have
that
gone
got
there.
delayed. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was, I would say, a blessing to see it happen with book 2. There are 2 more other projects that accompany it.
Okay.
But that's mom's the word.
Okay. So something else is in the pipeline.
It was 4 different things to go with to accompany the book series.
Okay.
But because of COVID, I said, okay, when I finish the series cover, I'm going to launch the doll, and then the other 2 I'm put on hold because COVID has actually I would say, where I wanted to do one of the projects. That country went through a civil war, and that country also is having difficulties with COVID in terms of the high unemployment rate. So that's something I have to wait to see how it shifts. Either that, I'm still looking into another market in the U.S. Again, I have to wait and see how that shifts.
How things progress.
Yeah. So that had to wait on. Those had to go on hold.
Okay.
So those 2 last projects.
Yeah. Well, so tell us about book 2. Where is it focused at? And then let's get into the doll before we run out of time, because I definitely want you to tell them about the dolls.
Okay. Well, book 2 is about Eastern Tortola, and we're going to be focusing on, not so much just focusing, but we're going to be linking how our culture started with the history. So now you have your emancipated. Well, we're going to still be talking about the history of the slavery in part, but we are emancipated, and what this emancipated group had to do to survive, and how that culture built. So now that's what we're looking forward to actually seeing with book 2 and book 3, because we're talking about the East and we're talking about the West. They both have different things happening within the history once we go emancipated. So those are the things that are going to be coming into book 2 and book 3, whereas I just focus on more of the historical sites and what happened in the central part. I'm not saying in the central part culture didn't happen. I'm not saying it's just that was
just a different focus on this one.
The focus was just on pointing out those areas as quick as possible.
So what inspired you to do the dolls? And that was the most exciting thing for me. I was like, we have Virgin Island dolls.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That was the biggest impact for having the dolls. I wanted Tortola to have their own doll. I wanted Tortola to have the BVI, I should say, their own national doll. Other countries have the national dolls.
Okay.
And being in the different groups, I've seen their culture and how they're trying to
capture it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
to continue the culture. And I wanted the same thing for us.
Okay.
So it's like, as again, every time I had an idea, I asked them a question, and they would tell me how to go about it, what to do, and
Okay.
whatever. And I wanted to, and all of that started within the same time with this book. So it was 2019, it was December 25th, and I was on the road trying to get a ride to town. But you know how it is a Christmas thing, a soul on the street, right? So just so happens, Kristen Fraser gave me a ride into town, and I was like, yeah, let me ask her a question. Because I always wanted to work with her on something. And this is what I was hoping. I didn't even tell her what it was. I just said I want to work on a project with her that I have coming up. And she told me that she has a very full schedule
yeah.
coming into the new year for 2019. Let me correct, that was 2018 December. So she said the full schedule for 2019, and I was like, okay, when you get space, when you get a time to yourself, I will hopefully we can get to do this, which happened the last part of 2020 into this year.
This year, okay.
Yes, we were supposed to have the event for the 18th of December last year, but unfortunately I had to do surgery on my foot and we had to postpone, so that's how we got pushed into this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we I didn't want to like wait any longer, because I said I don't control fate or anything. That's God in there. So while it's here, let me just get it out. Let me just roll it out. So she showed me how to get this done, because yes, you have an idea, but you don't know how to get the production part
put out. So describe the dolls. So for persons who, would not have seen it, but it's actually online. I remember JTV was there, so they had broadcasted.
Yes,
so persons can go and look at the
video clip on
clips on it, yeah.
JTV, and
so it's 4 dolls.
Well, we separate the costumes into 4 dolls, so you can see the representation of the costume. But it's one doll called the Zoe the Turtle Dove, and it's because of a territorial board, and I wanted to get the different things with the territorial icons out there, and make them fun and cute and just fun. Yeah. That was my concept. Yeah, we have stuff here, and but we could take stuff that we have here in our backyard and just make it into
interesting.
Yeah, and make it into creative stuff, even and stuff. I have had local designers that have taken things with conch shells and stuff and made stuff and be creative. So it was just looking at them and saying, okay, I could do this with this, and she was able to show me how. And along the way, in terms of, because we are launching book 2 and adding culture, that's why I told her I wanted the evening wear, the business wear, and the national dress, because it's something that came up where a question was posed to me. I told him about the doll, and it was a guy. It was not even a lady. It was a guy, and he said, "Gabs, you all don't have a national dress."
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, we do." And he said, "Anyway, you know what? You know more about this. So I'm going to trust you. Whatever you say, I'm going to trust you." And that's what I'm saying. Okay, God, we need to
do this. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to identify. We need to be able to be identified internationally that this is what it is, because I do have images of the world's national,
the different national dresses globally.
And it's one of the most interesting thing about it is when I was researching the dolls, looking for a doll manufacturer, I found a doll pageant.
Okay.
Yes.
A doll pageant. Oh boy, if you just tuned in, this is Gabrielle Skelton-Bardo talking about a doll pageant with yours truly, Shayna Smith-Archer. You're tuned in to the Vigilate Dialogues, and we're talking today about her recent work. Well, actually, you said this started in 2020. So yeah, so it's still very new. And she just also did a book reveal for book 2 in her series. And it has a doll collection now as part of it. So it's called The Illustrated History of the Virgin Islands. Before we forget, where can people get that book 1?
Right now you can get book 1 from Island Services and Nutmeg & Co.
Okay. What about Bambouche? I think
They're out.
They're out? Okay.
They're out.
All right, because that's where we got ours. I guess we went with the last copy. Awesome. All right, so...
And this is my last copy. That's for sale.
That's
Author copy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they can contact you.
Yes.
Where can they find you online? Do you have a Facebook page for?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page called Color Me BVI History, and it's linked to my WhatsApp. So if you message me there, I get it onto my WhatsApp.
Okay.
My WhatsApp number is 544-2280, and my email is 04baymax@gmail.com. And we're actually taking pre-orders because
for book 2?
For book 2 and book 1.
Okay.
Because of the situation with COVID, we just decided to wait.
Okay.
Just wait a little
So
bit.
persons need to pre-order, and then they'll get them later.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's just
Yeah, we know everything is unpredictable right now.
Yes, and it's just people have the interest, but right now is what's more pertinent at the time.
Yeah, yeah. As far as priorities.
Yes.
All right. Well, you've shared with us this journey. I don't know if you touched on what was the best thing about this for you in terms of being an author.
Forgetting about my fears and just starting, just starting.
Yeah.
Like don't listen to your fears, and be careful who you ask advice from. I would say, some people would tell you their opinion, and it can actually hold you back. It could actually make you not stop.
Yeah.
So take it. Just take it.
Yeah.
Take the information. Don't hold on to it, and don't allow it to prevent you from trying. But do also ask, if you do get somebody that tell you go ahead, do listen to that voice too. Some people listen to the
negative more than the positive,
because they don't know how to handle the information when they're given.
Okay.
They would give you they would tell you how daunting it is. That's why internationally, when you speak to people who are doing this, they would just tell you, go for it. Because they already know what they have accomplished.
Yeah.
If you're in an area where you have not done it, people would tell you, you can find information on the internet, you can this, you can that. So you would start to back down. And actually don't back down. Just take the information and store it for a later date, but keep going.
Yeah.
Any project you have.
So as the old people say, you eat the fish and throw out the bones. Basically. All right. So, and you already touched on what have been most challenging. What I like about you is your passion about this in terms of, how motivated you've been basically from high school about being an author and the importance of us documenting our history. Because then it's not just for us to know it, but it's important that, the next generation and the generation after that.
Which people don't understand is that a generation is always coming, and you don't know how long you're going to be here. We do not have much centurions or much people that have seen the history from back in the 70s. Who do we have from the 1700s telling us how it was when it happened? From the 1500s telling us how it happened with these islands. We're guessing. Everything is a guesstimation.
Or taking somebody else's word for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can have information and it's sourced and it's documented from the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1900s, and now we're into this period, you have to actually honor it and understand it. The thing is, for me, the goal is I will always make it accessible to children. They're going to continue, and they're going to expunge on the information. It's going to shape them.
Yeah.
I honestly believe it's going to shape them.
Yeah.
One of the things that me and Bernadine want to work on is doing the Constitution in this format, so people understand how a Constitution actually come about.
Awesome.
So it would be accessible to children. Children would be able to teach about the Constitution, because I can't tell you today what goes into the Constitution.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand everything that's around you in terms of government
And what affects your daily life, actually.
exactly.
You know?
So it's to say, that I hear what people are saying, but the issue is that is information there to be accessed. If you don't want to read it, fine.
Yeah.
But it has to be there.
Accessible in the first instance.
Yes, and it has to be, and it got to be in the smallest form. It cannot. Yes, that's fine. You have your PhD, you have your degrees. That's fine. But I still need a little child to be able to tell me
To know the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so key, because I think that's where, the whole idea of even putting it in the format of a coloring book, made it even more interesting, because then, kids will gravitate towards it out of just, wanting to do something fun.
Well,
but then it becomes educational at the same time.
Yes, it's just to show you, like, as for instance, where we were following the curriculum in the school, right? And Miss Bernadine sent the curriculum for me, and they will teach you from kindergarten about the territorial icons.
Okay.
So this is simple wording. It's very simple.
Okay.
But the child can sit with a crayon, and the teacher could actually come with a flower
And show
ask
them
the
the
child
actual.
and ask the child to identify, and then they look at this, and they could actually color. I've actually had some parents do this for homeschooling.
Okay.
Here in the BV, I bought this book just for homeschooling. So it's the concept. They would still be able to learn and see the information from kindergarten, and it goes up. You can even use it for secondary.
And they could drive
level.
by and say, "Oh, mommy, look, the territorial flower."
Yes, and the information here is basic. It was just the facts. So as I said, from high school level, it could be used because it has the basic facts.
Okay.
Like I could tell you, it's easy for me to keep saying the oldest building that I read was in Road Town that was built was the jail.
Okay.
And that was 1774. And that's because I put the basic information in the book to retain it.
Yes, yes.
If I had put all of the
A whole paragraph.
no, I would remember the basic dates. And that's one of the things that I wanted, that if you go into tests and you see a multiple choice question,
Okay.
you already know it's
Those facts, those little
1774.
facts,
Yes. You didn't have to stand up for hours trying to digest this information, especially if you're a person that struggles with reading and or you have learning disabilities.
Okay.
So those are the some of the areas that I really wanted to touch on. Any child that has learning disabilities, that this information can access them.
It's basic, really
Yes.
basic.
And I've actually had people who don't like to read, like they don't like books,
Yeah.
flip through this book to the back, from the front to the back, and I was like, that's all the reaction I wanted from you, because the fact that you told me you don't like to read, but this captivated you, that was enough. So that's some of the joys I got from it. It's just, I say
seeing
yes.
people's reaction.
Yes.
That was awesome. So as we start to wrap up, what would you tell a young woman who's thinking about pursuing a similar goal? Whether it's writing or, some other creative in terms of career choice or hobby even.
Do it. Go ahead and do it. We actually do have, we are forming a writers association.
Okay.
So we're going to soon be announcing that, and we're also opening our own publishing agency here in the BVA, so persons doesn't have to go overseas. We have some upcoming projects too to talk about copywriting, trademarking, patents, and what's not, the laws behind that. We have some seminars on that. So I would tell anybody that has had the work, and I have had people come to me, especially like I would mention Ron Grant. He did send a friend of his to me, and we did inform her. And she has poetry. She has a whole lot of that, stuff, and we're just telling her what to do. So it's just telling her, go ahead and just don't give up, don't stop. We're here for you when you're ready. So.
Okay. So then, in terms of the fact that you said you're going to start a writers association, that means there's a lot of up-and-coming writers and authors.
They're already here.
Wow.
They just didn't have the forum.
Okay.
So we decided, these are things that both me and Bernadine Louis have close to our hearts.
Yeah.
is like when you feel you're alone, so you don't
So it's just
push.
you, yeah.
Yeah, you don't push, but the fact that she, the two of us say the same things and we think about the same ways, and she's like, I call her my mom because she mentors me, and she's like, and she's like, she encourages me, and I was like, okay, let's do this, let's do this. And then to have the backing of Dr. Richard Georges it's awesome. He was my teacher, and he's been an inspiration for me from the time I was at HLSCC.
Okay.
So he showed me how hard it is to write and capture your audience. I did get that from him when I did 105, and it was it's just, we just want to see these things implemented. Okay. We don't want to talk about it anymore. We've talked so much. Yeah. So now we just want to do the do part.
Make it happen.
Yeah. So we just telling people, just once when you're ready, we're there. But starting the Writers Association, it would help people who don't have funding. Writing a book, doing a book is expensive. So it's now to set up an association that would help anybody,
support
any writer to get to where they need to be, get it published, the encouragement, you will find editors, you have the safety of that group, that your work would not be stolen or used inappropriately. So that's why we're going ahead and doing the Writers Association. Okay.
And the publishing agency, so they're basically going to be the publishers of works that people need to get started?
Yeah, we will be helping you understanding your copyright, the copyright laws here for the BVI. People who copyright or do their works in the States, it's different. They're protected. Okay. By their laws are established fully, but we don't have, if you're doing it here, like how I did it here, and I'm self-published. Okay. I had to do my copyright overseas through England, and I had to store my work. Okay. So I pay an annual fee to have my work stored, so the copyright is actually in
protected.
Effect. Okay. Yes. And my ISBN number is that I got it from England as well. They have the agency for the overseas territories. Okay. So those are the stuff those are the informations that I had. It wasn't easily to find. It's just that I'm meticulous in getting what I want. So Miss Louie really did help me in terms of
searching all of that.
Yes.
Out. Okay.
And what's not is also now when you want to get your work on Amazon and stuff like that. So sometimes you can't get Amazon. As I said, if you have the ties to the US, it's easier. If you don't, you have to go through the UK version. You have to do all of those things. Okay. So also helping people to set up their online stores, yes.
To be able to order, basically place orders online. So is this on Amazon?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. Because I just did my website. So I'm not putting it on Amazon because I don't have stock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to go and say.
Yeah. Order this and
it's not there.
Yeah, you can't fulfill yet.
Yeah. So the same thing with the dolls. When the dolls are here, I do have someone to get it on Amazon. So for the availability, it will be on the UK side. It will not be on the American side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everything is international now. Once it's on the internet, so regardless of where people are, they'll be able to get that. So with all that you have going on, how do you balance your life? That's like one of the questions I'm going to be asking all women of impact, because we have so many things that we tend to be doing, and people always ask me, when do I sleep? But I tell them, you'd be surprised whenever I want to, because we have those choices in terms of how we schedule our time and what we identify to be our priorities. So this kind of like was curious. I was like, what I'm going to ask, because people always are asking me, how do I keep myself balanced and keep myself sane, so to speak.
Well, I work. I'm up. I start work from 6 a.m. And I don't go sleep until probably 3 a.m. It depends on what it is and what I'm doing. If I'm doing the research, if I'm actually researching, when they had when we were getting ready for the launch, I didn't go sleep until 3 o'clock, and I waked up
a couple hours after.
I wake up for 6 o'clock to get there. So it was it's just I work well at night.
Okay.
Night is my favorite time. The day isn't.
Okay.
I actually struggle in the day.
Okay.
And have for years. And that's when I realized that I do well at night than I do in the day.
That's like your peak time.
Yeah, which was weird. So I always thought I was a vampire or something because it's like, why am I always alert at night, but in the day it's always like I'm exhausted, I'm drained, I'm tired. It's just
Yes, so your energy is up.
yeah, my energy. I just at night it was a lot more fun. So I'm up at night. I have to force myself to go to sleep. And in terms of balance, I think I wouldn't be the best at that because I don't have kids.
Okay.
And I don't. I'm divorced, so I don't have that
Those responsibilities. Yeah.
No. So
Yeah.
it's like right now I'm taking advantage of that.
Okay.
I'm taking advantage of that. So it's like I could do what I want when I want and come and go as I please. So it's good when you're doing something like this because this is time consuming and you would ignore someone or your family when you're doing this.
Okay.
So it's for me right now, I'm thankful that I'm in a position that I am right now.
Okay.
Because this is time consuming.
And you also work full time, right?
Well, not since COVID.
Okay.
After tourism, I was in the tourism sector, so that got hit hard. So, but during full time, yes. When I started this, I was full time working, so it actually it was never an issue. Okay. Because I was constantly moving. It was never an issue. I was constantly moving. As soon as I finished work, I was on to this.
Okay. That was your second job.
This was the first job.
Oh, that was the first job. Okay.
Yeah, when I showed it to April Glasgow, I said, I'm just working for the career that I'm actually striving for.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
She was like, yeah. I say, yeah. I say, I just work just to feed this.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's just a part of me.
That's the passion.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was like, it didn't matter. So this was actually the career.
That's where you poured everything into. Awesome.
So if I had to have a family, wow, I'd like to have that as a test subject. So when I do get one, I'll let you know.
Well, this is the thing I like about life. It's always constantly evolving. Because remember before the show, we were talking about the question of tell us about yourself. And, oftentimes we tend to put things in boxes because that's the expectation. So, people expect you to describe yourself a certain way or define yourself a certain way because they want to define you. And you were like, basically what I got from what you told me was like, I'm an evolution. I'm constantly evolving and finding myself.
I feel like clay. So whatever direction it gets turned here, I'm not.
You're not static.
No. So it was like when you asked me that, I was like, wow, that's hard. It's not the first time I've had that question. It's like, wow.
Like, how do I define myself? Really?
Yeah, it's honestly. Like I don't think that I fit any mold. So that's why I said I'm like clay. Yeah. It's like wherever you form me, I would fit. Yeah. And I've actually had that question, and the person smiled, and I was like, yeah, I will fit in. I'll try to fit in, and I still won't fit because that's not.
You're not gonna fit to the mold. No. But you will adapt.
But yes.
Yeah.
So it's like it was hard. If somebody can actually say who they are. Yeah. I would say that's a big achievement.
Yeah. Yeah, like they arrived, or kind of like they stopped.
Because they no, not that they stopped, but they figured it out, and I'm like, I'm still figuring it out. Yeah. So it's like the expectations people put on themselves, like at 20 I'm gonna do this, at 30 I'm gonna do this, at 40 I'm gonna do this, and then at this age I'm gonna retire. And life has shown all of us it doesn't happen.
It's not that predictable anymore.
Some of us get
probably never was, but it just. I guess we get comfort from thinking that we have a level of control over life.
And then life has a tendency to tell you, no.
Exactly.
So it's like when you thought in your 20s you'd have had this, you find yourself in your 50s actually doing what you thought you'd have done in your 20s. So it was like, what I learned from it is never put limitations on yourself. Yeah. Because when you limit yourself, you've already failed. You set yourself up for failure. You're not going to go anywhere. And that's something I really love to not see Caribbean people think is that you have to do things within a defined age. Yeah. be thankful for life.
Yeah, and use all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
Because
Awesome.
it's definitely short.
So if you just tuned in, you just missed an awesome and informative conversation with Miss Gabrielle Skelton-Bardo, author of The Illustrated History of the Virgin Islands. And she's part of our series we're doing called Woman of Impact. So as we wrap up, last question. So what's next for you? Everything and anything.
I laugh because I don't want to see. Not just yet. Just yet. I have a couple
you're definitely
stuff.
going to be up till 3 o'clock a couple more mornings. That's what you're telling me.
How long? It's going to be a long time before I stop those 3 OMs. Staying up thing.
All right, well, as we wrap up, again, if somebody just tuned in, let them know how they can find out more information about your book or to contact you.
Okay, you could go on my Facebook page, which is Color Me BVI History. You can also, it's set up with my WhatsApp. So if you message me, I would get it on my WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 544-2280, and my email address is 04baymax, BAYMAX @gmail.com.
Okay.
Or
Awesome.
you'll probably see me on the street every day.
Yeah,
out.
stop you someplace.
Yeah.
And where are the books available?
They're available right now at Island Services and Nutmeg & Co. BVA.
Awesome. All right. Well, Gabby, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. I mean, I feel all the energy and all the passion, and I'm so happy that you actually took this on as a project. As it relates to kind of telling the Virgin Islands story, because that was one of the things for me that, I felt inspired by in terms of what's my Virgin Islands story, not somebody else's version of it, but for it to be, this is how I perceive, who we are in terms of our history and our heritage, and the importance of passing it on, because I think that's one of the things where we became comfortable with having the oral tradition, in terms of having the storytellers. But then as they start to pass on and move off the stage, we're losing that. So it's very important to actually start to put these things on, whether it's in written form, it's in video, it's in audio, and make sure that it's around for the next 100 years. Like you're saying, we want to know what happened 100 years ago, and just so those that are going to come after us, they need to know what was happening in 2021.
Yes,
So that's very key. Well, I hope to have you back, and we definitely will hopefully have a display of the dolls, but definitely encouraging everybody, we have a national doll now. I'm very, very excited about that. So, that's a collector's edition for me. So I will definitely be putting in my order.
All right.
On that. All right. So as always, we wrap up. Public service announcement. Be safe, be well, mask up. A word of encouragement. A strong woman stands up for herself, and a stronger woman stands up for everybody else. And I think, Gabby, you're a clear example of that. You're standing up, especially for the kids. I'm wanting to make sure that they know their history, and not we have to wait till you're 20-something. So that is so key. Awesome. We replay our show here on CBN FM 90.7 on Sundays at 9 a.m. Back on Saturday at 3 p.m. The Vigilate Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associate, your business planning and project management specialist. Contact us at 340-1199 to schedule a consultation to discuss your business and project needs. You can also like us on our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've been sharing all the words of encouragement or any articles for the life hacks, so you guys can pick all of that stuff up there and see what we have. And YouTube, we're going to be bringing up our new videos very soon, so make sure you go on there and subscribe. Until next time, I am your host, Shayna Smith Archer, saying let's continue the conversation for a better Virgin Islands.
Wave them to the sky, rock from side to side.